Hello and welcome. So carrying on from the questions and answers you've sent in from yesterday. In fact, for me it's not really yesterday. I stopped the video after what was over 40 minutes and then thought, well, I was quite enjoying answering those questions, so I've now restarted, but you're going to watch this tomorrow. Hence it's a little lighter than yesterday's video because it's the same day, if that makes any sense. So I'm indulging myself because it's nice to have the opportunity to sit in the peace of the morning and go through these questions and give you this time and with you reflect on what it is you are asking and my own experience of these things. Checking the candle situation. Maybe light some incense. There's a lot of mosquitoes now coming up. Which is something we spoke of yesterday. Okay. Excuse me. Phra Dan, you made an interesting comment. I hadn't got the idea of then meditation is everything you are doing, not just sitting on the cushion. Can you explain this bit on meditation, please? Indeed. Yes. So, we sit in formal meditation. Meditation in the Noble Eightfold Path comprises sati, mindfulness, samadhi, meditation, or is often translated as concentration. It's more a single-pointed focus on a subject, an object, than forced concentration. If you think of the word concentration, when you're concentrating, you may squint your face up a little bit and tense a little bit, really concentrating. So it's not that samadhi, because you will be relaxing your face, relaxing your body, and just bringing your awareness, your single-pointed focus to a meditation object of, say, the breath, just simply breathing in and breathing out. And this is how we develop samadhi, which has stages of samadhi through to deep absorption. So when you imagine reading a book or watching a movie, all of your attention goes into that book or the movie, and things going on around you don't distract you so much. In fact, you could become so indulged in your activity that people might have to really shout or tap you on the shoulder to get your attention because you're absorbed. This is samadhi. But during this process we are developing the skill to be mindful of our thoughts and emotions arising in our thinking minds, as well as the experience, phenomena and feelings in our bodies, to be aware and notice their arising, staying, passing away. And this is what we call the other side of meditation, vipassana, which is not really the other side, it's part of it. Because by practicing when we're sitting in this formal, as you describe, on the cushion style of meditation, developing samadhi, we're also sharpening, honing the tools for this vipassana, which is seeing clearly. And this is often described as mindfulness, or sati, mindfulness, the other part to meditation in the Noble Eightfold Path, sati. And this mindfulness is what we practice throughout all of our daily activities. The more we practice samadhi, the better our sati, mindfulness, becomes. Similarly, the more we have attention to maintaining mindfulness, sati, throughout all of our daily activities, the easier it becomes for us to develop samadhi and its deep stages of absorption that are so possible and beneficial and enjoyable from that practice. So the two go hand in hand, or in fact better still, they are like two sides of the same hand. So therefore all of our daily activities are part of our meditation. We are always meditating. We can also stop amidst all of the kerfuffle and busyness of our day for just a few seconds, breathing in once with our full attention on that one breath in, and even breathing out. And this is meditation. We're continuing this throughout our day, reminding ourselves of what we have when we are sitting in meditation formally on the cushion, as you put it. But when we're not there, that is a state we have to go back to fall back to have refuge in, samadhi, to enjoy. It comes with us. Like a good memory of a wonderful time we had on a super holiday or something like that, it's there in the back of your mind throughout all of your daily activities, as is our positive experiences and not so positive experiences of meditation. But the more we practice, the better our meditation becomes and more enjoyable it is, and the more benefit we experience from that throughout all of our daily activities. So I hope that explains what I was getting to there. And again, like everything, try it, experience it for yourself, and you will truly, really see how that is. Thank you, Phra Dan. Amazing how instinctual mother's love is, how to develop metta towards all. Yes, so I did speak a little bit about instinct, and this in the context of birth and rebirth. In the Kalyana Metta Sutta, there's a line that as a mother protects her child, her only child. And this is a very beautiful way of expressing and a beautiful analogy of how we treat this idea of metta. Now, you've said develop metta, and I'm very happy you say develop metta, because it's often considered a practice, something we do. Metta, another question I know that's coming up, which I can include within this answer now, is can I expand upon this practice of metta, how to do metta meditation? Well, there is you'll find guided meditations, many of them, metta guided meditations. By all means, you can watch those, listen to them, and try this for yourself. Try things for yourself, experience it. If it works, continue to use it. If it doesn't, maybe keep trying. But what you're saying here is develop metta. Metta is a quality, one of the 4 Brahma Viharas. Now, I have spoken at length about the 4 Brahma Viharas, including metta, so please find the video on this channel, 4 Brahma Viharas. If you search 4 Brahma Viharas, English Buddhist Monk, it will come up. But it is not so much a thing we do. We can, of course, other beings will benefit from the quality we develop within ourselves of metta. Now, it's often, I think, thought from this practice of metta meditation, where you simply bring to mind, firstly, loving kindness. Let's translate metta to the words loving kindness for this context. you bring towards yourself loving kindness in your meditation. You sit and have loving kindness for yourself, and then those that you love, that are near you, those that you're indifferent about, and those that you don't like even, those that are near, far, far away. And in the Kalyana Metta Sutra it says we extend metta to all beings, at the bottom of the sea, on the land, in the air, near, far away, those we love, those we're indifferent about, those we hate. Expanding metta outwardsly, from first beginning with ourselves outwards to the whole universe. Now, this is metaphorically speaking. Now, personally, I don't believe in this practice. You sit there and by rote go through this list of countries, starting where you are, outwardly into the universe, radiating metta. If you don't have the quality of loving kindness metta within you, you're not radiating anything, you're just repeating words. Now, okay, this repetitive format could induce a feeling of metta within you and therefore have the desirable effect ultimately. But it's better first, I think, to just develop this quality of loving kindness within yourself with the understanding that we are brothers and sisters with all beings in birth, sickness and death. So using these 4 Brahma Viharas in conjunction with each other, of metta, loving kindness, karuna, compassion, mudita, joy for others, joy in other people's success, happiness, and this upekkha, equanimity, unreactiveness. We are building these wholesome, beautiful qualities within ourselves that will be experienced by all beings we come across. So if you develop metta in this sense through this practice of meditation, meditating on metta, then you are eventually going to build up this quality. But when you see it for what it is and understand it, and I think a very good way of understanding it is by going through that Kalyana Metta Sutta. In terms of the chanting version, is sufficient to just understand the reasoning behind it. You'll see that it is a development of this quality within yourself as enough for all beings radiating from yourself outwardly to the ends of the universe to experience. So from the simple process of walking down the street, how people experience your presence and you in turn experience theirs. From dogs to chickens to cows to people of all descriptions. If you have a quality of metta, the resistance is less, your passage is smoother. The dogs don't bark, the chickens don't run away, the goats are friendly, the cows are friendly, and people are friendly. Because you have a quality of metta. Like a flower with its beauty and its perfume has this quality of beautifulness and wonderful perfume that all beings can experience without it particularly saying, I want everybody to experience my perfume, I want everyone to experience my beauty. Of course, it's not a sentient being, it can't do that. It has this quality present within it that people will experience. So we develop, like you're saying, metta within us. Is this your question, how to develop metta? So how to develop towards all is with the understanding that we all deserve loving kindness, and even our far enemies deserve loving kindness. Why? Because we all beings, have a mother. And as a mother protects her child, her only child, it's with unconditional love. If you want to develop compassion along with metta, because the two really support each other, to develop metta through compassion, you just have to understand the unconditional love a mother has for its child. That is what you're saying, amazing how instinctual a mother's love is, because it is amazing. Now even you're an aggressor, someone wishing you harm, someone being horrible to you, someone you don't like at all, you may have feelings of hatred towards. think of their mother, whatever they've done, however cruel or nasty or misbehaved that being is. Their mother loves that person unconditionally, whatever they might do. Now or in the future, your mother loves you unconditionally, as does their mother love theirs. From that, have compassion for that person, for the mistakes they are making, as the mother has loving kindness for that person unconditionally, has also compassion for their child. And have compassion for the mother whom is suffering, if the person, child, still has a mother. But whether they have the mother still or not, the mother's love was there for the 9 months in the life of a human in the womb, of carrying that being, of feeding that being, of nurturing, nourishing, and then eventually giving birth to that being. There is no greater gift any being can give another than that. And that is pure unconditional love that is so evident in every being we ever come across. Like with the baby goats, its mother is there with its unconditional love. To a mosquito, from its larvae to being a mosquito, it's still, maybe it's not so apparent, but they have instinctual survival aspects to their very being that is unconditional. And knowing this is the development of this quality of metta. And this is far greater in value in terms of also its effect on other beings. If you develop this quality of metta within yourself by this understanding, by this experiential quality of metta, than just simply saying words. If it helps to say words, and that is your practice, that's fine also. Personally, it's not my practice to sit listing these ways of radiating metta to the whole world. I take that as a metaphorical explanation of developing the quality of metta within oneself, like the beauty in a flower, the perfume of a flower. Okay? So I hope that's answered 2 questions, I think, in one. Oh, I've answered that too. Hey monk, hope that's your preference. Hope that's. Oh, we were talking about what to call me. Well, I wouldn't say that's my preference. When we say my preference in terms of addressing things to me, I'm thinking of you addressing the Sangha. I would hate to think that you think it's okay to go up to any other monk and say, hey monk, or my friend, dear friend. You treat me, you call me what you like, I don't mind. But I'm wearing this robe, I represent the Sangha. Please don't address monks, whether they've been a monk for 5 minutes or for 60 years. Please don't go and address monks as my friend or hey monk. It's disrespectful to the Sangha. But also, I have teachers in this lineage that my background is on, and I wouldn't dream of calling my teachers friend or even brother. I call them by their respectful title, Bhante, or in Thailand, Ajahn, or Phra Dan, or Longpo, or Longta. They have these respectful titles. Even if I live with them, they're my family, I still refer to them in that way, however familiar I become with them. They're not my friend, they're my teacher, they're my superior. Now, that isn't a hierarchical thing, it's respect to the Sangha. So there should be, when you're addressing monks, and I'm not talking about me, you can call me what you like, it doesn't matter, but if you're addressing me, you could be, well, you are addressing the Sangha. Anyone wearing these robes is a monk, an ordained monk, so you're addressing really the Sangha, and that should always be done with the understanding that people whom have given up household life to become monks have done that. They're different. They're not the same as household people you meet in the shops. Hey friend, hey brother, or even Kalyanamita, your fellow upasakas, upasikas. You don't have to necessarily So I think you understand what I'm saying. Let me look at the rest of the question, because I just need to address that, because I'm getting quite a bit of hey friend, hey brother, hey monk, or monk, friend, brother, which is fine. But I get concerned. I think, imagine you've got monks. I know monks who have been monks for 60 years who wouldn't bat an eyelid if you called them that. But for me, I find it a little uncomfortable when people are addressing senior monastics, monks, nuns, as their mate, as like they've put their arm around them, hey, come with me, let's go to the shops together. It isn't like that. It isn't like that in society, or it isn't like that in religions. It's not a dogmatic or hierarchical thing. It's a respect to the faith. It's a respect to the sadha faith. It's a sign of faith. It's a respect to the sasana, the religion, that it is a religion, that it's something different. Otherwise, it's part of the renunciant process wearing these robes, of course, but it's also to differentiate the monks, the nuns, from the laymen and the laywomen. They're 4 essential parts of the Buddhist community. The fourfold assembly, it's called, without one part of which this religion doesn't work. So we respect the upasakas and upasikas as that, laymen and laywomen, and they respect the monks, the bhikkhus, and the nuns, bhikkhunis, as that, monks and nuns, renunciants, people who have given up the household life. So there needs to be some differentiation, and that's all it is, in order that we compartmentalize our lives into some sense of order. Okay, so some things are conventional. We use words, in convention, to help ourselves remember things like metta, karuna, mudita, upekkha, those Pali words for loving kindness, compassion, joy for others, and this unreactiveness or equanimity. We use these words to remind ourselves. That isn't in itself doctrine or dogmatic. It is a convention we use to keep things in their right place and develop wholesome qualities. After all, we are practicing sila, samadhi, panya. Panya is developing wholesome qualities, reducing unwholesome qualities. And we have respect for the religion. And it is that which we build in ourselves that strengthens our saddha, our faith, and supports the sasana, the religion itself. So the question is, so there may not always be age limitations on becoming a monk, question mark that is, had been under the impression that there was from one of your earlier videos. Well, yes, in the West there is a limit. It used to be 50. I think it's been extended to 55, an age limit. But in terms of the Buddhist religion and anywhere else, that's for practical reasons. The only requirement is you have to be a minimum age of 20 to become a bhikkhu. You can be ordained as a bhikkhu, a samanera, a novice monk, from I think the age of 7 or 8 years old. Usually it's probably any age, but I think usually the earliest is about 7 years old. But you cannot be fully ordained until you have reached what is considered a mature age and it is 20 in the rules, the Vinaya. the age of 20. But there's no upper limit. In fact, people ordain late in life in Asia, very often, either temporarily or for the rest of their lives. So no, I'm sorry if I gave that impression. It wasn't meant to be. But certainly in the West, because of the way it's set up and not being a Buddhist culture, it was impractical, I think, for them to take on monks too late in life, because of course you are going to get old and need a lot of care. So if you create that a sangha of just old monks, it might attract for the wrong reasons, people wanting to retire, and it'd be very difficult, practically speaking, because we have to look after each other. We don't employ nurses or doctors. We're not set up as nursing homes. When you think in the West of all of the rules and regulations around an ordinary premises for people whom are disabled or not in good health, how you have to look after them and treat them. If a monastery had to run like that, it would be it is now a very complicated business indeed for monasteries in the West. Whereas in Asia, well, you put up a wooden shed in the forest, that's it, it's a monastery. So that leads me on to another question, which I don't have in front of me, but I remember it. What is the difference between a temple and a monastery? Okay, a temple is a place where, and in any religion, a temple is a place where people go to pray and worship, or show their respects, or carry out their devotional practices. And they're often very elaborate kind of places, churches, cathedrals, temples, and such. This is a religious place. This is a temple that I'm describing there. Not this. This is my kuti, my room. A monastery simply means anywhere a monk or some monks, a group of monks, live. That's it. Now, a monastery doesn't necessarily have a temple. Each kuti may have, my temple in here, for instance, is just this hanging up behind me. There's a little amulet with a Buddha Rupa in it. So it's high above everything. That's my Buddha Rupa. If I was to bow to the Buddha, I would bow to this Buddha Rupa. It's there as a reminder of me. It's facing east. It's there as a reminder of me, of the Buddha. That's all I need for my temple. These big, elaborate golden Buddha temples you see are really built by lay people, for the purposes of lay people to come together, for their devotional practices, for their ceremonial duties and practices, for the monks' ceremonials, duties and practices to be carried out. Even as far as ordination is concerned, a temple isn't required. What is required is what's called a sima, which is a designated area. In Thailand, it has to be designated and authorized by the king, who's the ultimate patriarch of the society there. So it's very official, but it's just some stones, bombo makai, I don't know whether there's a specific number, a demarcated area that is sacred for that ordination purpose. It can be as simple as that, with a Buddha Rupa, some candles and incense. So even this room could be designated a sima, if it was done officially. But a temple is something quite aside. It is just a place of religious worship, really. But a monastery is a place where a monk or monks live. Sometimes they are combined. So in Bangalore, in city monasteries, and in my monastery here, which is a city monastery, there's the monks' accommodation and the temple adjoining it. Sometimes you might go to a visitor monastery as a wandering monk, and if there's no accommodation, you can go and sleep in the temple. It's very important and a strict rule that you must never sleep or have your feet facing the Buddha Rupa or in the direction of. You would sleep always with just your head facing the Buddha Rupa, laying like this. I would lay here at night, as I do, on this floor. My head's that way because the Buddha Rupa's behind me, never the other way. But that is a temple. It's not a monastery. They're two separate things. So what was the... So I answered two questions. I went from one to another, so I'm a little confused now. So I'll get on with the next question. Hopefully I covered that. How do you find people stroke monastery with a serious nature but also a laughing Buddha, joyful character, because I did the 10-day retreat and it sucked. So sorry, and it sucked so bad, way too serious and uncompassionate, made me feel so excluded and angry. Is this possible? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that it sucked and it made you feel excluded and angry, as it would. And you ask, is it possible? Well, it clearly is. You have experienced this. I fortunately have not experienced such. Now, a group of Buddhists, people, a monastery, a meditation group, a Vipassana course, a meditation course, a collection of Buddhists. What's the collective word for Buddhists? Buddhists, I suppose. Hey, it should be a happy Kalyanamitta, a happy, beautiful, noble friendship. Laughing Buddha, this fat, jolly Buddha, he comes from Chinese mythology. He was actually not the Buddha. He is in some Chinese mythology a former Buddha, or the Maitreya Buddha, even the future Buddha, I think. But officially, the official story from my tradition is that he was actually a monk, a very happy, joyous and generous monk, a bit like our modern day Father Christmas, you see, like St. Nicholas was portrayed as this gift-giving, jolly fat fellow. He was called Hote, this fat monk that you see in Chinese restaurants, the laughing Buddha, because he was jolly and happy. And that's very good and representative of what Buddhism is, because we're looking in Buddhism to find contentment and to be free from suffering in this lifetime. And what is that? The symptom, the result of that is happiness. So yes, it should be happy. So if you have these, if anyone's had such an experience of this, of it having sucked and being so bad and way too serious, then please just put it behind you. Don't go back and find an alternative source of Kalyanamitta joy, because it certainly. How do you find these people? Well, here, the people watching these videos, the people sending in the comments and questions, certainly at least those people, because these are whom I'm communicating with, seem to be very, on the whole, happy, and people practicing this practice in a not too serious way, because it shouldn't be taken. It should be taken seriously with confidence, as in faith, but we shouldn't take ourselves too seriously. We should see the joy in the practice and get the enjoyment from it. So I'm sorry to hear of your experience, and hopefully you won't have that experience again. It sounds like it was quite official, being a 10-day retreat, and I think some people going to these things can take it very seriously, which is not a problem, as long as they don't take themselves too seriously, because we are all the same. We're all brothers and sisters in birth, aging, sickness and death. This is the Dharma, this is the truth, that there's suffering, a cause of suffering, end of suffering, and the path leading to the end of suffering. And all we're doing as fellow practitioners is practicing that path of Sila, Samadhi, Panya. We're not trying to oppress others and be doctrinal, dogmatic and too serious about it. Okay. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? I should wear my glasses to read these, but they don't really help. What are your thoughts? Are you nervous or scared? I'm not sure what this is. So I see. Should read the question first. I'll start again. Excuse me. What are your thoughts? Are you nervous or scared? How long you going for? Who pays for your flights? Okay, that's lots of questions. You're talking about me going to Sri Lanka, of course. This is what I didn't quite understand, because I can't see that on here. I just see the question. So am I nervous or scared? No, No, why would I be nervous or scared? Of course, going on Charaka, going as a monk, we don't have money and we don't have things. Now, yes, I can understand why you'd ask the question, are you nervous or scared? But that's nothing new. And here, I own my entire worldly possessions are in this bowl or in this bag here. And my Buddha hanging on the pole there. So, it's the same wherever I go. Nothing changes in that respect. And going to a different country, well, I'm already in a different country from my own. And I don't see really, I'm not going to even if I was going to Ukraine or Israel, I don't think I'd feel nervous or scared. I've kind of given up with being nervous or scared through my practice. It's just anicca, dukkha, anatta. Everything's impermanent, unsatisfactory, and out of my control. So even if I feel very secure here, and maybe I wouldn't feel so secure in Israel or Ukraine currently, if war was to break out here today, in this state, then I would be in the same position. Nothing would change, and that is out of my control. And we do not know what's going to happen next. It's out of our control. We cannot predict the future. We can just put into practice the causes and conditions for the future situation that arises to be good by practicing good actions of body, speech and mind here and now. Now I take that practice with me, and what I do, and all I own, which is my 8 requisites, my 3 robes, my bowl, razor, water filter, belt, and needle and cotton. That's the 8 things I own in the world. Along with this phone to make these videos, which I borrow, incidentally, so this is for this use only. Someone do mention, what about you have phones? What about entertainment? Well, I don't use them for entertainment. They're just for this purpose, really. And some official administrative purposes one has to adhere to these days by way of different cultures or countries' regulations, like having visas, applying for visas, and this, that and the other. These days it's kind of essential. You have to have it on a phone. They don't really do the paper stuff so much anymore. And certainly as a monk, not having anywhere to put things, it's quite an easy way to carry stuff about. They're cheap phones I have. I say phones because I do have 2 very cheap phones rather than 1 expensive one. That's for practicality and safety. If I lose one, the information's still on the other. And it is information we are legally obliged to carry around with us, like visas and copies of passports and information about insurances or anything like that that's necessary depending on where you go. So, do I feel nervous and scared? No, I don't. I feel nervous and scared. Plus I'm going to just not very far away, another country. I'm also going to a Buddhist country. This isn't a Buddhist country, so I really have to fend for myself. It's quite difficult to be supported in non-Buddhist countries, whereas in Thailand and Sri Lanka and Myanmar, Burma, they are Buddhist countries. So I feel, very comfortable about going there. But thanks for your concern, if it is that. How long am I going for? No plan. I didn't plan to go there. It's just come about. I'm going there by way of invitation. And I don't have any time scale. So I might go there for a week. I might go there for the rest of my life. I don't know. I literally don't have a plan to where I'm going next. If I'm asked at the airport, they might say, where's your return ticket? When are you going back? I don't have one. I'll have to get someone to provide me with one there and then, because sometimes they require that for your entry, a return ticket. In which case I'll just get a return ticket to here or to Thailand and then cancel it later, because I probably won't end up going at that time on that plane at that place. My life isn't like that. I'm a wandering ascetic monk. I don't have time schedules or even a diary to work to. All I know is work by is the moon phases, the full moon and new moon, Upostata days, and then the next Vasa, which will be in a year's time, next July full moon, when the Vasa will begin, until August full moon when it will end, the monsoon time when I have to be in one place, when I will have had to have made plans, which I usually make, as this year and the previous year, at the very last minute, in the last few days, when I decided at the last minute I'd come here, and came here to Bangalore, and they very kindly gave me this place to stay for this 3 months. Which leads me on to the next question. Who pays for your flights? Lay people have to pay for everything for monks, but they don't have to. They willingly want to do so. It's by way of giving and dana. And usually, as far as flights are concerned, whoever's inviting you to wherever you're going would pay for or arrange the flights for you. We're not looking where I'm flying around here within Asia. It's very inexpensive by comparison. It's less than, say, $100 or £100, which might also seem quite a lot to some, but by comparison to, say, flying to the UK, which would be more like £700 or £1,000, it's not very expensive. There are also some visa fees can need paying for, and these, in Thailand, I went to the visa office, and the administrator, in fact she was the senior immigration officer, got her own credit card or whatever, my debit card out of her handbag and paid for my visa fees there and then. They don't even want to give me a visa here in India, let alone pay for it. But in Thailand, they this is the way it goes. People want to help monks in their practice. So I don't think about it. It just happens. And I'm going to Sri Lanka because this is the way it's happened. I didn't plan it. It happens that I've been invited. Everything's been put in place and paid for. Now I have to sometimes make certain little arrangements, like fill out things and get the tickets, which I can do on phones quite easily these days, and that is one of the advantages of smartphones, as opposed to the disadvantages of them being used for entertainment. But I don't use my smartphones for entertainment. Like we have hands, we've always have hands, but it doesn't mean we have to steal and break the second precept. We have tongues, but it doesn't mean we have to lie and break the fourth precept. We don't cut off our hands to stop ourselves stealing. We don't cut out our tongues to stop ourselves lying. Therefore, we don't have to... I don't encourage having smartphones unless it's necessary, which it is for travelling for monks, and for some monks it is necessary. But if you live in one monastery and you're just practicing meditation and you're fully looked after, you probably don't need one. And then for novice monks and for me through my training, we weren't allowed them. But to have them isn't breaking any precepts or rules in itself. It's what you use them for. It's what you use a smartphone for that is the problem, or where any potential problems could arise. As with your hands or your tongue, or any aspect of your body, speech and mind, what you use it for. This is where unwholesome actions can occur. Not within the device itself, the hands themselves, the tongue itself. It's what you do with it, isn't it? And this is where, as monks, we're practicing restraint. We're guarding our sense doors, what we see, what we hear, what we smell, what we taste, what we're touching. We guard this. We guard this with Hiriyanotapa, our moral sense of conscience, of not doing bad things. And the results that if we do bad things, that's Hiri, Otapa, the results of our feeling of regret for having done bad things. These are our guardian angels. These protect us. Hiriyanotapa. It's just conscience, moral conscience of doing wrong, which applies to all of our actions of body, speech and mind, not just the devices in front or anything available in front of us. There could be magazines in front of us. We don't have to look at them, as we don't have to look at certain things on the phone. So it's a case of restraint and decision and our own sila, moral virtue, which as monks we uphold very, very strictly, of course. So that's it. Hi sir, may I ask you, Same person asking the question. I think they went in a different order actually, but it doesn't matter. Hi sir, may I ask you, hi sir, may I ask, you have zero money, question mark. Do you have no money from previous life, question mark, from your home, etc., question mark. Yeah, no, I have zero money. So monks are not allowed to use money or handle money. Specifically in the precept or the Vinaya it says gold and silver, but that was because that was the form of money in the days of the Buddha. So it's accepted that monks do not use money or have any money. As far as money from my previous life, I gave most things away, house and what do you call things? Chattels, things, furniture, the things we have normally as lay people, whatever, televisions, all this stuff, cars. You sell and give this stuff away and what have you. There's certain things in terms of you can't give away, like you may have investments or pensions, for instance. If you come from the UK or the West in countries, you may have things you can't access or you don't have any control over until you get to a certain age.